Sanjukta are taking a very prominent role in establishing the rule of law in India. So she has also fight for her own causes, and she's so I will ask now Sanjukta to address the crowd, because I think we have sufficient numbers. So in the meantime, if somebody come, we will again. Yes, Sanjukta. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for this nice introduction. Well, I don't know if I am that much of an important person to be able to play a role in safeguarding democracy or human rights or anything. I'm really not that much of a big person, but I do feel, I think a lot about these questions and these issues, and as I think, I feel like connecting to more people like me, and I feel that collectively we can address these questions, and we can do it collectively. I have always been like that. I've always, questions come to my mind, and then I immediately feel like, okay, let's ask others, let's connect, let's think collectively, and then let's do something collectively. Okay, so the thing is that I've done many things in my through the career of about 15-16 years, and because although I did not practice law for a long time, but because I am a lawyer, my legal acumen, my legal training is always with me, and that has been recently, like, again and again, giving me a sort of, you can call a calling. You can say that it is like a calling. It is like, I have the legal knowledge, why am I not using it? And that is where now recently in Twitter and all, I've been talking a lot about how we can use legal information, legal knowledge. It is not something new. We have many law-based NGOs. We have many people giving legal aids. We have these things in our country for a very long time. But I feel that there are still more that we can do. There is still gaps in our legal fraternity. There is a lot of, maybe we need reforms in, even as lawyers, and even in the courts, and how we practice law, how we see ourselves, what is our role in the society, particularly democracy. That is something that has been in my mind for some time, and I'm going to share that with you today. So to begin with, we hear that there are 4 pillars of democracy. There are 3 pillars of democracy: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. And then we say the media is the 4th pillar. I think the lawyers are then another pillar, maybe the 5th pillar. I don't know. And although lawyers are ideally part of the judiciary, but maybe we have forgotten that. Maybe we have not really taken that role very seriously. We think judiciary is the court and the judges, but we forget that lawyers are an integral part of that judiciary. That's why we say bar and bench. So they are complementary to each other. They go hand in hand, and they both have the responsibility of being of safeguarding the democracy. Why I say this, that we have sort of not taken it seriously, our own roles, is because how lawyers have got this, we get all the bad names कि lawyers सब cheat होते हैं, ये सब पैसे खाते हैं, ये clients को cheat करते हैं, और ये corporate lawyers होते हैं, उनको तो बस कुछ काम नहीं है, बस they just make a lot of money. Lawyers are not really seen in a very good light in the society. We get a lot of bad name. Why is that? Why is that law is seen as like this kind of a profession, which is like politicians? Lawyers are also seen as a dirty profession. Lawyers are always playing dirty tricks. That is not really a great that's not a great thing for us. So therefore, I think we have a very noble role, and we have a very serious and responsible role in the safeguarding of democracy. We are not just about कि झूठ को सच और सच को झूठ करे, और किसी को भी कुछ भी they can do anything. That's not the purpose. And although I know that as professionals, it is our duty to defend our clients, our whoever is our client, whether it is a murder accused, a rape accused, or whatever, it is a lawyer's duty to defend the client. That is absolutely true. But at the same time, we also have the duty to stay noble to our profession, to stay honest and maintain our integrity, and we can do that. The point is that we don't have to lose principles and values to do our job. I don't think that it is true that to be a lawyer you have to be corrupt, or you have to be dirty, or you have to be you have to twist everything. I don't believe that. So in let us come to like India. What the kind of India we are living today, irrespective of what is your political inclination, what we are seeing is that very two strong political forces in India are colliding. There is a lot of churning going on in Indian, in India. There are claims, there are counter claims. For maybe from the time of independence, for a long time, we had one kind of thought process. We have one kind of politics, but we have just like basically one certain kind of, direction that the country took. But with the phenomenal, win of 2014, win of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the coming of Mr. Modi, we have a great change. The country is going through a huge amount of change. I don't want to make it a political statement whether the change is for good or bad. I have my own personal political opinion, which is on Twitter, that people know. But today on this talk, I don't want to talk about that. I want to say that there is a great amount of change that is happening in the country, whether it is for the greater good or whether we are going towards the bad. I don't care. Point is that there are a lot of claims, counter claims, and there are two strong forces colliding with each other. What is our role in this great journey? What is, I've been, we have, it's like we have this all-powerful empire, and then there are these rebel groups, and we're trying to defeat the empire. So what is, and we're trying to like, as if we are, what is our role in this war? And this war is very, very democratic and very legal. It is not like in our country there is, and people say that, "Arey, democracy is lost. Arey, ab to kuch nahi raha. We are losing democracy. Fascism is coming." I don't believe that. We still have a lot of space in this country to fight for our own, whatever is our political opinion, whatever is our political side. You choose a side and you fight for your side, whatever is that side. But we have a lot of space and opportunity to take our fight to the courts, to the justice, doors of justice, and do our legal fight. So therefore I think this churning that is going on in the country, that's why lawyers' role today is the most important, irrespective of which side we are going. We are seeing that cases of various new kind of cases are happening, various new kind of love jihad, sedition cases have increased so much these days. Cases under UAPA has increased so much in the last 5-6 years. That was not there earlier. So the laws existed. We always had laws of sedition, laws of defamation, laws of UAPA and NIA and all that. But we are seeing that more and more people, individual citizens, are facing charges. They are coming, they are being picked up, booked, arrested. FIRs are being filed on various laws. So we are seeing that the legal contestation is happening more in the present time from both sides of political forces. So how we can play a role in that? So firstly, let's say we have to create a culture of the rule of law and the fear of law. This, I think, is one of the most important job for the legal fraternity. We as lawyers, yes, of course, we have to defend our clients. Even if our client has committed something and we have the confidentiality, we cannot disclose what our client's truth is. We have to defend our clients no matter what, when at the moment a wakalatnama is signed. That is there. But at the same time, we also can create a overall culture of rule of law and a fear of law. We should not become a tool which sort of gives the idea to the society that laws don't matter. We can do anything. As long as you have a lawyer, you can do anything. You can break any law, and I will, get you out of it. Crimes happen in society, wrongs happen in society, and the job of the lawyer is to defend a client. But at the same time, a job of the lawyer is also to create a rule of law and to inculcate of an understanding amongst the citizens that no, laws are not meant to be broken, laws are meant to be respected, laws should be respected, because because it is for our own fraternity that we have to respect law. Today, let's say we live in a time where the political balance is not good. We have one side of politics which is very powerful. They have a lot of seats in the parliament. They can pass any law they want. The laws, because of the number of parliament seats, we constantly say that judiciary is being biased. We are frowning upon our judiciary. Contempt of court cases are happening because people like Prashant Bhushan are saying all kinds of statements about our honorable judges. Kunal Kamra is saying, why is that? Because people are sort of going towards a situation where we are losing that respect, because judges, Chief Justice Bobde, these kind of photo, कहीं पे कुछ photo आ गया, उसके ऊपर लोगों ने कुछ comment कर दिया. Now, earlier our judges used to maintain this great they never used to be in public space. I mean, उनको कभी हम उनकी इंटरव्यूज नहीं सुनते थे, कभी उनको देख नहीं सकते थे, उनका कभी टीवी पे या पेपर्स में कभी अचानक से ऐसा फोटोज नहीं आता था, बट अभी आ रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया. सो नाउ ऑल्सो फर्स्ट टाइम वी हैव अ हिस्टोरिक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बाय आवर जजेस. So when judges are coming into the public sphere, people are also now reacting to that, to whatever they are seeing, because people also have a fundamental right to freedom of speech. Earlier there was a great mystery surrounding our judges, and that mystery used to give this aura, this sense of respect and reverence. Like हम भगवान को देख नहीं सकते हैं, सिर्फ उनकी जस्टिस, भगवान की हम सिर्फ जस्टिस देख सकते हैं, भगवान हमें क्या दे रहा है वो देख सकते हैं, लेकिन उनको भगवान को देख नहीं सकते. जजेस वर लाइक दैट. बट नाउ जजेस आर मेकिंग कॉमेंट्स. जजेस आर सेइंग कि मोर के आंसुओं से रिप्रोडक्शन होता है, मोर पीकॉक्स डू नॉट हैव सेक्स. When judges are saying these kind of things in public, people are reacting. Earlier, we never heard these kind of statements from our judges, so there was no reaction. So that is kind of the atmosphere. But we have to still respect the rule of law. Now, coming back to the imbalance of power, we have to remember that when we go to the court, and that is why bar and bench are complementary to each other. Hello? Is there?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you explain the word judicial activism?
Judicial activism, I'll come to that. Let me just finish my points and I'll come to that. Whatever your any questions, I'm very happy to take questions. Please note it down and I'll come to the questions.
Yeah,
so
we will have an interaction session also.
Yeah.
And I would like to welcome Mr. Anand Tiwari. He is also with us. Welcome, Mr. Anand Tiwari. And we will have an interaction session because we have already finished 20 minutes. And it's a 35 minutes maximum program.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah. No, I just have like one more point to share and then I'll wrap up and then we can have introductions. So what I'm saying is that when we as lawyers go to the bench, to the court to argue our cases, we should have that confidence that the judgment and the decisions will be based upon our arguments, what law we are citing, what precedents we are citing, and what logic we are giving in the court of law. No matter what my political allegiance is, that does not matter. But if we lose the rule of law, if we lose the fear of law, what will happen is, irrespective of my political allegiance or my side, I always have the fear of getting just the true judgment based upon my arguments. So it is in the interest of the legal fraternity that we inculcate the rule of law. We always stick to logic. We always question that, okay, if in this case somebody is getting a bail, why the same rule is not being applied on another case? Is it because the other person is connected to the powers of that ruling regime? That question we as legal fraternity have to ask, and as lawyers, that is our responsibility, that we raise those voices. Even if you choose a side, you may choose your side and then you raise your voice. But we have to raise those voices. We have to critically examine the decisions. We have to critically raise those voices. So that's one of the points that I want to say. The other, so caste, religion, community, nothing should matter. The only thing should matter in the court is the rule of law, the precedents, and the logic and the arguments between the two lawyers. This is something that as legal fraternity we have to reiterate, we have to repeat in our surroundings, in our society, amongst our peers, your students, your friends, colleagues. You have to say this. You have to repeat this fact that rule of law should prevail, not emotions, not politics, not religion, caste, community, or anything else. So that was one of the points. The other point is that inculcate a sense of self-respect amongst citizens for their own personal rights and liberties. We as a nation, we're very like a mellowed and chalta hai nation. Even if somebody takes away our rights, we say, अरे ठीक है, adjust कर लेते हैं, अरे it's okay. We fear the law, we fear the courts, we think that going to the court is of no use. आप कोर्ट में आपकी जूते घिसते रहेंगे, आपको कभी भी जस्टिस नहीं मिलेगा, बरसों लग जाएंगे आप अगर एक बार कोर्ट जाओगे. तो क्या होता है, bunch of goons comes to my shop and says that the name of my shop is Karachi Shops, तो हटा नाम चेंज कर लो. तो next day I bow down my head and I blacken my Karachi and I only say I'm a sweet shop. I give away my space. Slowly, everybody in this country is not fighting for their rights, and they are giving away. They are conceding defeat. Why is that? Because they think that the war, the legal fight is very difficult. And that is where we as lawyers have to play a role. We have to encourage them. We have to tell them, no, if your rights are, you have a good case, you can win it in the court. You should fight for your rights. We have to maybe, sometimes do a little bit of pro bono work depending upon your conscience. You can do a little bit of pro bono work. You can do work in small amount of fees, or you can collect fund. For example, I have done it in my case. When Times Now attacked me, called me names on national television, they defamed me, they called me a troll, and I said that no, you can't just say these things on TV, and I'm not just going to go about my life coolly thinking because Times Now is too big an entity and I cannot fight. Of course, it was easy for me because I knew that I can argue my own case. But I'm saying that as lawyers, we should inculcate that sort of a atmosphere where everybody is respecting. They should be angry that their rights are taken. Police misconduct, police violence, sudden arrest without any warrant, arrests without violating the DK Basu judgment. The person should fight for compensation. The individual, the citizen should have the confidence that I will go to the court and I will fight for a compensation and I will get it. We don't have this confidence today in our country. Citizens are very scared. They do not take their fight to the courts of law. And I think that is where we again have to play a role. So, all these cases of recent, like Dr. Kafil Khan's case. Dr. Kafil Khan stayed in jail for 8-9 months and the NIA charges were dropped. There was absolutely no proof. So what, is he supposed to just get on with his life, forgetting the humiliation that happened to him? Should he not go take his matter to the court of law and say that, okay, what about my mental harassment? What about my lost time, my lost opportunity and my name, my reputation? I deserve a compensation. At least he should have a fight. But can he have that fight? Can he take it to the court? Does he have the confidence? Is there anybody to give him that morale and that courage and that confidence? That's where we have to play a role. So yeah, so those I think those are the two things that I want to say. We must encourage and motivate ordinary citizens to approach the court, to do for their liberties, to seek compensation. We have to give them. And I just want to say one last thing, that even, and this is all that I'm saying, is a lot of these are part of tortious liability, law of torts, and we don't have it in India. And even the Supreme Court recently, in the case of this Samajwadi Party leader, Supreme Court said that it was Justice Ravindra Bhatt who said that the legal community is also at fault. We never developed the law of tort to claim damages, and the Supreme Court said that the only way to, the remedy to fight motivated and malicious propaganda is to claim damages and under the law of torts. This was in the case. This was a bench by, it was a bench by I forgot, Justice Arun Mishra's bench sometime this year itself. Chief Justice Arun Mishra's bench and Justice Ravindra Bhatt said this, and I think this is the right time that we also develop the law of torts. कि अगर हमारा पड़ोसी आकर मुझे कुछ बोलकर जाता है, if somebody is throwing me out of my apartment because of my religion, I should be able to sue that person. I should be able to sue the government, the police, for violating my personal liberties, because me as citizen is more powerful than the government. We in India think that the government and the police is more powerful. Actually, the citizens are more powerful. The government should be fearing the citizens कि भाई हमें sue कर देंगे और हमसे पैसे मांग लेंगे बहुत सारा, like it happens in the Western countries. So that is a more mature, developed and confident judiciary and legal fraternity that I'm talking about, that we have to build. Once we build that, we will have a more robust and vibrant democracy. So yeah, I will wrap up at that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjukta. We have Anand Tiwari with us. The minimum words so that we can wind up at time. Yeah, Mr. Anand Tiwari.
Saurabhji, thank you very much for this. Ma'am, you have explained it very beautifully. You have touched every aspect of the legal fraternity that facing today. But I have a question with regard to, as you have mentioned, that there was a historical, unprecedented act taken place where some of the judicial members, the judges,
the press conference,
in the public domain and go for the press conference.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, don't you think that it is also degrading or derogatory for the judiciary?
So let's not talk about the judges. Let's talk about the focus about the issue. Issue is a human right. Okay, Anand Tiwari, I am intervening you with your kind permission because the issue is primarily human rights. So judiciary is a very big institution. It has a very.
I don't have any question with regard to that because ma'am has explained it very carefully and beautifully about every aspect. I'm very thankful and very delighted about this. So,
no,
thank you very much.
I don't want to comment
because ma'am has mentioned.
Let me briefly respond to Mr. Tiwari. I don't want to talk about the judiciary, of course. I'm not commenting upon our judges, honorable judges. But like I said in the very beginning, our country is going through a great churning, great upheaval, and we are seeing a lot of unprecedented things. We do not know what is right, what is wrong. We don't want to comment on that. But yes, there are many unprecedented things are happening. This press conference was one of them, and that is because there are a lot of changes happening in our nation. We are going a time of, jaise Samundra Manthan hua tha, we are going through that time. A lot of things will come out of this Manthan, of this churning, So let's just leave it at that. Let us not go into the question of right, wrong. We have to move forward and we have to see what we can take out of it, what we learned from it, So yeah, as individuals. And about judicial activism, I wanted to respond to the question of judicial activism. So judicial activism is the role that judges play, the court play in the matters which are usually of the legislature. That's a technical definition of judicial activism. But you can also say public interest litigation that are filed challenging the legality of a particular legislature is part of that judicial activism. And when judges sort of go into they decide that, okay, this law you've passed, So, we are supposed to have three separate institutions: judiciary, legislature, and executive. They're supposed to be three very separate and very independent. But when judges sort of go into the domain of legislatures and they decide what law was valid, not valid, and what law has crossed the limits of constitution, that is what is called judicial activism in the technical sense. And there is a debate: how much can our judges interfere in the in the legislation? So the debate is about, can they legislate, can they make new laws? Like a lot of guidelines, the Basu judgment, Vishaka guidelines, these are all these were legislations. These were like laws. Until the parliament passes a law, the judgment becomes a law. This is actually legislature's job, which our judges have done. So this sort of is called judicial activism. And I don't know if that's clear or not. This is a very long debate, very complicated, but that's technical part of it.
Thank you so much, Sanjukta.